A couple of weeks ago during my Moonswatch video, I made the comment that I didn't think Omega was a luxury watch brand. I also added that that's part of a bigger debate. That's a debate that I'd like to have today. This is what I class as luxury. For this video, I thought I'd wear my Omega Seamaster 300 on a soon-to-be released Bark and Jack native strap. But there's a lot that I want to talk about in this video. There's a lot of areas that I feel need detailed discussions, and I really want to share my point because it's not a point that I kind of want to start arguments with. It's points that I truly believe, and as someone who has got hands-on with some of the cheapest watches in production and someone who's got hands-on with some of the most expensive watches in production today. And so these viewpoints aren't just flippant points to annoy people. This video is sponsored by Bezel. It's a brand new app that helps you shop for luxury watches, but I'll tell you about them later on. I'm going to segment this video because there's a few detailed thoughts I want to share with you. So I'm going to start off with talking about a bit of background, a bit of context, then explore the actual definition of luxury, and then applying that definition to watch brands themselves. In the video where I mentioned that Omega isn't a luxury brand, despite the fact they sell expensive watches, I think that the main annoyance was around how tone deaf that can sound, or how tone deaf that came across. I'd like to address that, and by doing so tell you a bit about my background and where I've come from, because I appreciate how some random guy on the internet saying that a £7,000 watch isn't luxury just makes me sound like some privileged pleb. So back in 2008, I was running my first business. It was a music production business. 2008 happened, recession, global recession, and it screwed me royally. I lost everything in that, and I became really broke, properly broke to the point of not being able to eat. I couldn't afford food because I paid rent, and my ego and pride wouldn't allow me to not pay rent just so that I could eat. Long story short, I had to close everything, shut everything down, moved home, reset my whole life. Even still today, I don't often buy Starbucks, but even still today, if I go to Starbucks, even wearing a £4,000 watch, I still feel like a boss. That still feels like a luxury to me. That is a luxury purchase because there's something about Starbucks that triggers an emotion in me because it's something that I couldn't afford, that I wanted to afford, but couldn't afford back in 2008. I'd meet my friends at Starbucks, but I wouldn't be able to drink. I'd be the one drinking the free water at the side of the cafe. And it still triggers me today, that emotion of being able to buy a Starbucks. I think we can all agree that Starbucks isn't a luxury. And I think that's the challenge, is there's a difference between what is a luxury purchase and what is a luxury product. And that's essentially the premise of this video. Let's look at what actually is luxury, or the dictionary definition of luxury. A state of great comfort or elegance, especially involving great expense. An inessential, desirable item, which is expensive or difficult to obtain. So the definition is quite clear, with very obvious elements that describe what luxury is. But the reality of that, the actual meaning of it, is vague as hell. What I class as essential, you might class as inessential. Comparatively, essential and inessential is one of the easiest categories to think of. For example, a dress watch we could class as an inessential item, whereas a tool watch we could class as an essential item. The more challenging one is desirability and expensive. You only have to go to the comment section of any watch review to see that we don't agree on what is desirable and what isn't desirable. Expensive is the most challenging part of this. At what point is a watch expensive? Is a £4,000 watch an expensive watch? Is a £3,000 watch an expensive watch? How about a £250 watch? I think all of these are expensive watches. I think anything really over £100 is expensive. If you're in the position to spend £100 on an item that you don't truly need, because we all have phones now, then I think you're in a decent position in life. If I think back to me in 2008, I wouldn't have been able to buy a £100 watch. If I did buy a £100 watch, that would have been a luxury purchase. But I think we can all agree that it wouldn't have been a luxury watch. So when we're talking about buying an item, it's clear that whether that purchase is a luxury purchase or not is individual, is so individual that there isn't one unanimous viewpoint around that. And so my feeling is there's a difference between a luxury purchase and a luxury product. A non-luxury product can be a luxury purchase. Me back in 2008 buying I don't know, £100 watch, £100 Citizen, let's say, that would have been a luxury purchase of a non-luxury product. The reverse of that exists as well. We see this all the time with a luxury product being a non-luxury purchase. If you think about someone buying a Patek Philippe Nautilus, a 5711, they buy it, keep it in that little funny plastic bag and then put it in a safe. Without doubt, that is a luxury product. But I don't feel the purchase, the overall experience of that product is luxury. For me, it's the equivalent of booking a room at the Savoy and not going in the room. You've purchased a luxury, but you're not enjoying the luxuries. The way that I see luxury within the watch world, I see it as brand and heritage, finishing and build quality, and price and availability. And this is pretty much in line with the dictionary definition of what luxury actually is. Now, you need a good balance of all of these elements. You can't just launch a watch and give it a hefty price tag because no one's going to buy it. There isn't going to be any demand. That's why you need the branding. The branding creates the hype, creates a demand. But you can't just have a brand that says we are luxury. We don't stand for that. We don't accept that. There needs to be substance behind that. You need to have the build quality and the finishing of the product to back up the price, to back up the branding. And this is exactly where the disconnect happens with brands like Tudor, with Bremon, with Hublot. With Tudor, they are a premium product. They call themselves premium. They are priced premium and they're premium build quality. Yet they operate like a luxury brand because we can't just walk into a shop and pick up a Black Bay Pro on a bracelet. The chronographs that they have, these aren't hard to build products. There's a wait list. They're a premium brand, but they operate like a luxury brand. In a different way, you have Bremon. They have luxury branding, they have luxury price tag, but the product doesn't back up, the branding doesn't back up the price tag. So there's a bit of disconnect there. Exactly the same with Hublot. Luxury branding, luxury price tag, the build quality and finishing lacks a finesse for it to back up the pricing and the branding. Rolex suffers from this disconnect as well because of how some of these elements play out in reality. It distorts our vision and people value these elements in different ways. And so it becomes very contentious whether Rolex is a luxury brand or not. We will look deeper into that in just a second. I want to zoom out a bit because before I start talking about which watch brands I class as luxury or how I see different watch brands, there are a couple of caveats that I want to add here. This is just my opinion, and it honestly doesn't matter if something is luxury or not. It has no bearing on the quality of the product. My Omega Seamaster, it doesn't matter what someone classes this watch as. Factually, this watch is absolutely superb. The movement in here, the caliber 8800, the accuracy, the robustness of this movement is mind-blowingly good. Without any unnecessary hype, I truly believe that this movement is the best mass-produced movement on the market. But that doesn't make it a luxury product, and nor does it not be luxury. Take anything away from how brilliant it is. Another caveat is I do struggle to see tools as luxury. If something is truly built for a purpose, then immediately, by sheer definition, it is essential for that purpose. Therefore, it isn't luxury. Now, that becomes distorted because some brands like the branding or the category of certain things, of tools, of sports, and so they create a faux version of that in a luxury setting. If you think about the Rolls-Royce Cullinan, without doubt a luxury SUV, and put that up against a Toyota Land Cruiser. One is a luxury product that has been styled to serve a purpose. The other one can actually serve the purpose. In watch world, let's pick on the Nautilus again, the 5711, and put that against an Aquaterra. One has been built to look like a sports watch. The other one is a sports watch. The last point I want to make before we move on is that I've categorized brands for what they represent or what they're known for. For example, Jaeger-LeCoultre, they are known for their Reverso. They also build some insanely complex watches, like the Gyro Tourbillon that they create. This is a £400,000 watch, but that isn't what they're known for, and their icon is the Reverso. Just like with Omega. Omega can build some very complex watches, but they are known for the Seamaster and the Speedmaster. Rolex are known for the Submariner and the Daytona. That's their thing, and so that's how I've categorized the watches. Let's take a few seconds to talk about the sponsor of this video, Bezel. Bezel is a brand new app that helps you shop for luxury watches and currently only available in the US. They have in-house watch experts to authenticate every single transaction so you can shop with confidence. The app is modern and easy to use, both for buying and selling watches. They also have experts on hand to help you along your watch journey. The best thing is, as a viewer of this channel, you get a discount, $250 off your first purchase. Just type in discount code BARKJACK250, all one word, all lowercase when you check out, and that will give you $250 off your first purchase. If you're in the US, check out Bezel wherever you get your apps from, or check out getbezel.com. I've created a hierarchy of luxury, and I think we should build downwards from the top. I think we should categorize what is the pinnacle of luxury, what is top tier luxury. The pinnacle of luxury should be something unique, something exquisite, something that is undeniably special, undeniably expensive, and genuinely rare. Something that is refined to the point of being obsessive, like Roger Smith, or a Grubel Forsey, or a Philippe Dufour. I'm not going to go through and name every single watchmaker or every single brand. I've just chosen 3 for every single category. We'd be here for days if we tried to cover everyone. The next section down from here, I have 2 categories, and I've separated them into mainstream luxury. I'm going to carry on with the pretentious wording and call this connoisseur's luxury. So in mainstream luxury, we have the Holy Trinity. We have Patek Philippe, we have Audemars Piguet, and Vacheron Constantin. These 3 watchmakers are absolutely phenomenal, but I feel like there's one element that either increases luxury or decreases the luxury depending on your preference. Patek Philippe and Audemars Piguet are household names. Vacheron Constantin perhaps not so much, but it's coming up into the fold as becoming a household name. A lot of people, even beyond watch enthusiasts, know Patek Philippe and know Audemars Piguet. Now that can either increase the luxury value because people recognize what you have as being something nice. Equally, for those who like to be under the radar, this can decrease the level of luxury. And so that's why I kind of feel there should be an adjacent section to this, the connoisseur's luxury. Within this, I have F.P. Journe, A. Lange & Söhne, and H. Moser. Now, within watch enthusiast circles, a lot of people could say, well, hang on, these are mainstream. I don't believe these brands are as mainstream as Patek Philippe, for example. A. Lange & Söhne, very well known. H. Moser, all 3 of these are very well known within watch enthusiasts. But outside of those circles, I don't believe these brands are anywhere near as known as the mainstream luxury. The next section is the contentious section, and this is what I want to class as luxury. Now, naturally, this is a hierarchy, so this is in effect entry-level luxury, but I don't want that entry level to devalue anything. This stuff is special. The first brand I have in here is Jaeger-LeCoultre. I have these guys here because of their branding, their heritage, their history. The design of their products is without doubt Jaeger-LeCoultre. They have their own designs, their own products. They don't jump on hype. They do their own thing regardless of fashion. Equally, their product has a level of finishing, a level of finesse to both the design and the finishing that I feel is much superior to other watch brands within the same price range. There's a special something about Jaeger-LeCoultre that feels without doubt a luxury product. Exactly the same goes for Cartier. Again, these guys have their own design. These guys have their own products. They don't jump on hype, and they have, again, a level of finesse to their product. They have the whole package. The final brand that I have within entry-level luxury is Rolex, but there's a big but. There's a massive but within this. Rolex, for me, their icons right now are the Submariner and the Daytona, the GMT. These are tool watches. Going back to my point earlier around tools not being luxury, this kind of distorts that thing, but for one single reason. The sheer popularity, the sheer desire of these products has elevated their status beyond what the actual product is. There's no way this is a luxury product. For me, there is nothing beyond that crown on the dial that says this watch is luxury. Rolex's popularity is its strength. It's what elevates the brand, but it's also its biggest threat. If you were to remove the popularity and we could walk into an AD and buy a Daytona as easily as we could buy a Speedmaster Pro, Rolex would be a premium brand with a luxury element. Exactly like Omega. Omega, I see as a premium brand with a luxury element. The main bread and butter of Omega, Seamaster, Aquaterras, Speedmasters, Planet Oceans, they're all tools. I see them all as premium products. The desirability simply isn't there to elevate the brand in the same way as Rolex. However, there are some stunning pieces from Omega which scream luxury. I got hands-on with the all-gold Speedmaster. That is, without question, a luxury product. The finishing and finesse on that is equal to that of JLC. Other brands that we have within the premium section, arguably below Omega, but we have Breitling. Breitling has a superb heritage. Their branding, I think, is absolutely stunning, but the product isn't a luxury product. The product is very much premium. The same goes for Tudor, but Tudor is very, very different from many other premium brands because they have this big brother of Rolex pushing them down. I feel like Tudor purposely do funny things with their watches. The proportions are always ever so slightly off, not to the point of me disliking them, but to the point of me thinking, you could have made that better. I'd like to add a couple of closing points here. When you buy something because you want it and you like it, not because of what you think it says about you or what you think it's going to make you feel. A watch on your wrist isn't going to make you feel differently. You might enjoy the experience of wearing the watch, but it's not going to change anything about you. The final thing is, it doesn't matter what you have on your wrist or what other people have on their wrists. It says nothing about us. It doesn't put us in any particular position. You could have a £19,000 all gold Jaeger LeCoultre on your wrist, but be paying it off every month because you got it on 4 years finance. Equally, you could see someone wearing a £200 Fossil smartwatch and not know that they're worth 1.3 billion and be the CEO of Google. Guys, I'd love to know your thoughts on this. One, the positioning, my positioning of luxury brands, but also the separation. Do you agree that there's a separation between a luxury purchase and a luxury brand? If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button. If you like the style of this video, hit the subscribe button down there and that little bell icon so you get notifications when I drop a new video. If you want to check out watch straps and watch accessories, I know we're out of stock on a lot of things. We're going to have a big drop very, very soon. But if you want to check out watch straps and watch accessories, jump over to barkandjack.com. If you're on Instagram, give me a follow at barkandjack. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.